In this video, I'm going to show you a full body self-care mobility routine you can do anywhere, anytime. Just promise me this one thing. If you don't have time right now, make sure you save this video for later and perform the whole thing a little bit later. And I hope you enjoy.
So let's get started. Number one, cat-cow. Knees under hips, hands under shoulders. We are going to round our back, tuck the chin. And then from here, drop the chest. Look up. Great mobility exercise, great way to loosen up that back. So let's run through 10 reps here. We'll run through it together. Nice and controlled, make sure you're breathing throughout these motions. And that's it, let's do 10 reps here. So round out that back, tuck the chin. Really pushing the floor away from you. And then reverse it, look up, drop the chest, and try to keep your shoulders away from your ears. Try not to shrug. That's one. Good, two. Good, three. Four, five, good, six, seven, couple more, good, 8, 9, and last one, 10. 10 reps total, cat-cow. Love starting that way. I need to grab the timer for the next one, so hold on one second. Next one, nice classic hip flexor stretch, half kneeling, which just means one knee on the ground, one leg out in front. We're gonna hold this for 1 minute on each side. Remember, a couple cues here. So knee's gonna be under the hips, kind of a straight line from head to knee. This leg will be out in front, maybe about 90 degrees with the knee. And then try to turn your hips so they're pointing straight forward. And then from here, squeeze your butt. When you squeeze your butt, you might already feel your quad and hip flexor starting to stretch out. And if that's the case, you can always hang out here. If that's not enough stretch for you, squeeze the butt and then shift forward. Try not to arch from the low back too much. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but when we keep the butt tight and that low back straight, we get a much better stretch on our hip flexor, and that's the whole goal. We're gonna hold this for 1 minute. This can get a little bit intense, so if you have to back off for that minute, say you get to about 30 seconds, you're like, man, this feels sketchy, feels a little, doesn't feel the greatest. Back off, let it relax. Go to the other side. You could always just switch sides too if you want to, but let's shoot for 1 minute total on each side. Let's get the timer going. All right, 1 minute. When I'm doing this, I like to think like I'm wearing a belt buckle. Imagine a big belt buckle around your waist, and that belt buckle is pointing straight ahead or slightly up. We're getting that tilt of the pelvis, and that's what's gonna stretch out that hip flexor and into that quad. So again here, relax through it. If you're holding your breath, back off of the stretch. About 20 seconds to go. And because we sit a lot, our hip flexors can get a little bit on the tighter side, on the short side. Good, almost done. Cool. Let's switch it up on the other side. And we'll go ahead and get it started. Same thing. Squeeze the butt, tuck the hip under, and then shift forward. This side's a little bit tighter for me. Again, concentrate on breathing. Maybe take some big belly breaths. Make the belly fill up nice and big. If you had a big holiday and you ate a lot, then it might be bigger than you want. And let's hold it here. Nice gentle stretch, not too intense. Keep the hips pointing forward, 20 seconds to go. Again, if you need to back off the stretch, it's a little too intense, that's totally fine. Or if you need to take a break, that's okay. Pause the video. 5 seconds to go. 3, 2, and 1. A long one. All right. 1 minute each side. Hip flexor stretch. So we hit that all-important T-spine. We're hitting those all-important hips. Here's one for the groin, frog pose. This one's good. Knees wide. Toes pointing out. Whew. It's feeling tight for me. You can go on your forearms. You can go up onto your hands. I'm gonna stick with my hands today. I can feel that it's a little bit tighter than I hope it would be, but that's okay. That's why we're here. And then from here, keep the back straight and then just shift your hips back. Try not to hunch. Keep that nice straight back. The wider the knees, the tougher the stretch. If you can do this, that's great. If you can go wider, even better. If you have to go in here, that's cool too. But let's go 1 minute, hold on this. Let's get started. Again, same concepts. Concentrate on the breathing. Take big belly breaths. Try not to breathe from the chest too much. Try not to do that. Nice and big breath through the belly. As you run through the stretch, as the time goes by and you're feeling a little bit better, try to sink back just a little bit more. So right here is where I started. I think I can sink back a little bit. Perfect. That's a little bit more intense. I love it. A little bit more than halfway done. A lot of people don't realize that groin gets super tight. So we've got to show it some love. 10 seconds to go. Sink back a little bit more. 2, 1. Boom. 1 minute. Sometimes getting out of those is tough. 1 minute frog pose. That's number 3. Let's go into our last mobility exercise / stretch. We're gonna hit T-spine rotations on all fours. We get a little bit of that rotation in our mid back, and then we also get a little bit of that extension, which is good. We're always hunched over. We want to do the opposite. We want to go back a little bit. So this knees under hips position, hands under shoulders. I like to bring my knees a little bit more than shoulder width. It gives me a little bit of a base and makes sure my hips don't move as much. One hand behind the head. Rotate down, push into the ground. Look where you're going. Rotate up. T-spine rotation. If you can't get your hand here, hand across the shoulder works fine in front of you. So let's shoot for 10 reps here. Try to keep that lower body as steady as possible. We don't want it to shift too much. We want to keep it steady. That's why my knees are on a little bit wider side. And then see if we can just move from our upper body. Let's shoot for 10 reps on each side. Same thing, nice and controlled. Control your breathing. Look where you're going. So turn your head up towards the ceiling. You'll be surprised. You'll probably go a little bit further. So 10 reps each side. Rotate down slightly. Rotate up. Good. 1. Good. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10 reps. Switch it up. 10 reps on the other side. 1. Good. 2. 3. 4. 5. Good. 6. 7. Good. 8. 9. One more. 10 reps. T-spine rotation on all fours. That's it for the mobility exercises and stretches, but we got to finish up with a stability exercise. This is one of my favorites, dead bug for the core. Let's turn this around just a little bit. All right. So dead bug, laying on your back, knees over hips, a little bit of a chin tuck here, hands over the chest, and then we're going to drop one arm and then the opposite leg down, and then alternate. The key here is keeping that low back flat against the ground. That's the toughest part. Think like there's a towel or something underneath your low back and you're trying to push into it the whole time, especially when you're putting your leg out in front of you. When you're extending that leg, that's when that lower back wants to pop up. That's when you got to use your core strength to hold it down. 10 reps total each side. Control the breathing. I personally like to exhale when I'm lowering. Some people like to inhale, but find what works best for you. I like to exhale. I think it's a little bit easier to contract those abs. 10 reps each side, 20 total reps. So, slight chin tuck here. Set that low back. So now I'm pushing that low back into the ground. Bring the knees up. Opposite arm, opposite leg. Another thing here, if that's too difficult, just do the legs. You can also keep the bend in the knee, and that will make it easier too. So find what works best for you. Let's start it over again. Good. Good. 1. Good. 2. 3. 3. 4. 5. Good. 6. 7. Good. 8. 9. Last one. Let's make it a little slower. 10. And 10. Whew. 10 reps total, or 10 reps on each side, 20 reps total on that dead bug. That is it. You did it.